Good afternoon, everyone. I have the honor today in introducing you to Ranaan Gissin, who over the years has become one of Israel's leading spokespersons to the foreign press and international community. Ranaan Gissin has served as foreign press and public affairs advisor to Ariel Sharon and most recently Prime Minister Omer. We are so lucky to have Dr. Gissin here today to share his experiences with us. Many of us in this room have taken the responsibility and rightfully pride ourselves in defending and supporting Israel on campus. Dr. Gissin has dedicated his life to doing this in the international arena. As Israel too often finds itself in a military conflict with its neighbors, and even within its own borders, there is another battle that is taking place. It is a battle that has no geographical scope or bounds. It is one which we are all fighting. This is the battle for truth. As millions of people tune into their local news stations or CNN for their 5 minutes of news a day, Ranaan Gissin has been the voice of Israel. He has served as this voice with the utmost integrity, conviction, and devotion, making it no wonder that he has received the Louis D. Brandeis Award of Outstanding Contribution to Zionism. So I'd like to first and foremost thank the IOC for organizing this event, and again, it's an honor to introduce all of you to Ranaan Gissin.
Thank you, John. Thank you, the IOC. I want to thank Hillel for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak to you. Although unlike the other presentation that I usually make, the topic that I was presented with, Sharon and I, like the movie The King and I, is quite a difficult one to handle, particularly for me personally, because it brings back very excruciating, painful memories to me. But perhaps by trying to share with you some of those little stories of the special relation that I had with Sharon, perhaps you'll get a better insight to what Israel is all about. Because Sharon was first, foremost, and above all, Israel. For good or for bad, the light, the shadows, the strength, maybe even the weaknesses that Israel had. And therefore, of course, his stepping down from stage was such a traumatic event for a society which fancies itself as being a society that has gained the entry card to the 21st century, but it's still acting in times of crisis like a small tribal society, when the gathering clouds of terrorism or incitement are gathering around. The society has a tendency to gather around the bonfire or around the leader that they could trust, a leader that would give them some sense of peace of mind. And when that is not there, that creates a major, I would say, crisis in the society, in the sense of looking for some sense of confidence, of some sense. And don't mistake it, Israel is a 21st century society, a winning society, on all counts, on the economy, in the military. We're up there, way ahead. But every now and then, we go back to our ancestral history, and we still are acting like a tribe. We're one of the original tribes, 4,000 years ago. We walked the face of the earth there in Mesopotamia, in the Fertile Crescent, where American soldiers and British soldiers are shedding their blood today. In that place, that's where it started. That's where Western civilization started, until our forefathers got the message to go to someplace else in the other part of the Middle East, and he walked all the way to this land, which was on the eastern littoral of the Mediterranean, called Israel, Canaan. And there, the Jewish people were born and grew and developed. And Sharon, in the sense of this, was a byproduct or a natural offspring of the landscape of this land, of what this land meant. In 2006, after he was incapacitated as a result of a stroke, I got a phone call. I was several months after the election. A new government was already in place. Prime Minister Urmert changed his position from just a caretaker to the Prime Minister of Israel. It's just before, the Lebanon war. And I get this question from, usually it comes in Rosh Hashanah, at the head of the Jewish holiday. They decide who will be Man of the Year. You know that story, every year, the papers, the television, they have to choose the Man of the Year. So this guy from Ynet is Israel's internet news, largest news gathering organization, if you want, news disseminating organization. And it's read by many. And he calls me up and he says, Ranaan, I need your advice. I need to write about Man of the Year for 2006. I'm making a survey among some of the people who are in government and who follow what's happening in Israel, who have their finger on the pulse of the country. Who should be Man of the Year in 2006? I said, it's very simple. The same guy who was Man of the Year in 2005. Now, in 2005, it was Sharon. So I said, how come? Sharon was in 2005, and then he was Prime Minister, he was President. I said, you got the answer. In 2005, Sharon was Man of the Year because his presence and his actions moved events in the Middle East, shaped I would say, the direction that the State of Israel took. If you remember, we had the disengagement, we had the fight against terrorism. He was able to subdue it and start the political process. He established a new party which was about to gain 43 or 44 mandates, which would mean the critical mass, the first time in Israel's history that there is one strong political force that can move the country. And at the end of 2005, he was incapacitated, and he projected the curse of incapacitation on the Israeli political system. So in 2005, Sharon was Man of the Year because of his presence. In 2006, in my view, I told the guy, he was Man of the Year because of his absence. And ever since then, it's like in those Greek tragedies, the tragedy of absentee. The fact that he was not there created a lot of other mishaps. The way the war was conducted, everything could be pointed to the fact that he left behind him a vacuum that could not be filled.